there's nothing. So she got on that slide and started to ring herself. Where she purchased. It's extremely powerful.
You got Apple Pay?
Marquis, love to game with Xfinity. Upgrade your speed to keep things
It might process on my laptop. I mean on my iPad.
You got an iPhone. So why don't we have that?
How do it work?
That's the easiest thing to use. You gotta have no cord. You gotta have no phone.
This weekend only, truckload of hot tubs from major brands like Hot Spring Hot Tub. All listening hot tubs as low as $59 a month. 0% financing, 6,000. Swim spas up to 10,000 off. Hot tubs, factory direct. Stylist running at $59 a month. Hot tubs.
You go right to your bank, just like any other bank, just like cash.
This weekend only in Chesterfield Valley, next to Top Golf. HotTubExpoSTL.com.
Innocent belief.
I
didn't think I was going to make it out.
How much of it?
He said to me, I love you. Well, I told you to it. That's what I was going to do.
Started saying we have to kill ourselves. We have to revolution, suicide, we have children.
As soon as I started to run, his footsteps were
You
behind me.
this cafe place? Go to your wallet. Now go to your search. So all you gotta do is wait for the bank. You gotta add the bank card. But you can use it in any place. You don't have to have it. You don't have to unless you want to. So you can transfer the bank. Transfer the bank.
She was in a relationship. She did that for everything.
$15. You gotta put it in there.
She used
No, type it.
after this
Then
effectively after my first
there's no bank card on there.
was absolutely determined that this was not going to happen. If she could have listened, nobody could have.
No matter the custom of the culture, the identities or the country people draw their experiences from, there is one motive for murder as old as humankind itself: jealousy in the face of a lover who has been scorned. Blackfear Silver tried hard to dissuade Lucky from marrying Bridget Chandler. She stepped up the pressure enormously. There were a great deal of confrontations. She was tearful, threatening. It really was deteriorating.
There was things stripped to India to purchase all the Henry Afghan. Effectively shows that this woman who had decided that she was going to be a this rival, although he was not interested.
Aguilar doesn't necessarily sound very familiar, but anybody who has read a Harry Potter book or even seen a film will recognise New Spain. And it's a very interesting part. So Aconite is a metaphor, I suppose, and sometimes people do think of bases.
The first case from the document in several cases of poison goes back to the 1830s in this country. It was probably the news such a poison that many years before lighted yesterday was as such.
Aconites can be found in many regions, but only in India is a variety of it to be found which can kill.
It's actually a really important flower which hides a deeply toxic and unpleasant poison that has impact on the gut, on the heart, and the nose.
It is this poison that as little as 1 gram of the root is enough to kill. What was Latvia planning to do? Extracts from the root of aconite that she had returned to her prison. And how was Gurji's choice?
Things escalated between the two women in Latvia's life. Gurji said to Latvia, just stay away, stop interfering in our lives. But Latvia said, I cannot deny my feelings.
She started to contact Lakunda, antagonize him and say, look, you need to end this relationship, or I'm going to do X, I'm going to do Y, I'm going to tell my family, I'm going to do whatever. And he said, look, I'm moved on, this is the end of it, you know, I'll get married, and leave me alone. But she didn't take no for an answer.
Latvia continued to have access to his kitchen.
Has he ended up in the hospital? Pretty much anyone who guests
But you know, when in my house was now, you know, like the Braids and you know.
I kind of didn't think too much of it. He
was though, a lot of people, it's like people still just name Braids. Like I wasn't supposed to my passport. And it's late, she just killed me. I didn't want to ask, but I think the birth certificate. Like, people don't want to instead. I'm like,
Lucky put something in them, clearly suspecting Latvia. He asked his lodger to watch it.
yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Is there what? Is
I
something
thought my
is
people
going
on her Facebook page.
something is going to happen to me. That's what Lucky said. Something is going to happen to me. If somebody asks looking for me, tell them to what you we said, okay. So if they're your friends,
You want all these stuff now?
It would not be a problem to get into Lucky's place and leave a key which had been poisoned.
Latvia had a key to Lucky's house. And my understanding is she would go around and like a big brain and helping people see what they're in a relationship.
Lucky pulled through, but Latvia continued to call it up.
But he did too, right?
On a number of occasions, Lucky's neighbour saw Latvia entering and leaving his house when he wasn't there. She told him about this and suggested he might want to change his locks, but he didn't pay any attention.
He mentioned, oh, maybe I should change the locks and I need to get this sorted out. And yeah, for some like to do this. And I think my mum said, look, we should leave and get that sorted out. Yeah, I'll definitely get that sorted out and change the locks.
But how what? Which meant Latvia could still come and go to his house. A woman visited by a new saint.
The wedding date was set for that time. As the big day Latvia seemed more and more distraught and upset with every passing day as the wedding day. On the 27th of January, she left her home and made her way to Lucky's flat.
One of the tenants saw her in the house and saw that she took something out of the food.
in my mind, that room says, you're going to do that. Yes, something like something there.
Was the lady who had always been pleasant to her, perhaps?
You like kids, you think I had to get it with them. I just ain't even think.
A few minutes later, she put it back. And then we saw nothing about it, just carried on having our tea and her back, ignored it. Well, we didn't know what she done then. We see what she done. We see what she done, but we just thought she changed her mind.
There was never Lucky's intention for Bishop to be out for Lucky's lodging.
She She goes in the food and the dinner, and it's that night they took that out of the fridge.
She had placed extract from the roots of the packing cart into a pre-prepared curry dish that she had left days before. Anyone would think the curry would be a great adventure.
Because substituting with just a very small amount of the food, that's hard work for the food. Probably the going something like that. Black box of the food, one of the toxic ones.
That's the thing, the left of triple curry from the fridge says quite a lot about her state now. Because this was a woman that clearly was not thinking properly at all.
Lucky was out and about working properly, fixing things. He had built a plant it was needed to open. Blackfinger Chima knew there was prepared food waiting for him in the freezer. A homemade curry to look forward to.
Here was a curry, heavily laced with dead leaf and Latvia and left it.
Okay, so you can go into 25 cent feet or free.
We don't carry to us. My friends were, it might have been with several other people. She was putting all those people in making a curry and then doing it. Curry is a very sensible place to hide that curry because the taste will be completely lost by the taste of the curry.
The couple were heading home for a date laced with danger.
There was no antidote for his consequences.
When you do this, it's going to be done.
Great news, St. Louis. An all-new fashion store is now open in St. Peter's. Join the grand opening celebration on Saturday, October 19th. The first 50 people get a free gift. Plus, our giveaways and fun for the whole family. Actually, now open in St. Peter's. Great news, St. Louis. An all-new fashion store is now open in St. Peter's.
Well, my daddy mail was like $130, so they
First 50 people get a free gift. Plus, our giveaways and fun for the whole family. Actually, now open in St. Peter's. St. Louis, an all-new fashion store is now open in St. Peter's. To celebrate, take 25% off your entire
What is it with her dog?
or get 0% interest for 60 months. Actually, now open in St. Peter's. St. Louis, an all-new fashion store is now open in St. Peter's. Right now, get 60 months, no interest financing. Plus, take a test rest at any St. Louis action location and be able to win $2,000 only at Action.
You ready for college? I get it. It's a big decision. But I think Lindenwood University can make your choice a whole lot easier. Let's start with over $30 million in scholarships and grants to the college and over 30,000 alumni working near campus to make the job hunt easy. And because we're local, enjoy the perks of campus life. Stay close to enjoy home. So, what do you say? Ready to awaken that lion within?
Your choice of 2 sauce and tossed chicken strip baskets. That's right. You're serving up your favorite Greenway flavors. Like savory sweet love barbecue, or cheesy perhaps juicy all-white meat chicken strips, sauce and toss, and your choice of these Win famous flavors. That sounds great for camping contagious. Hurry in and get in on the sauce and toss action.
Almost captivating cold stories in history.
The cult has to break me down. It was okay because it was God's will.
Legends, cold skills. His scorn for Latvia's sink had continued to come whenever she pleased, and had access to the fridge, which had meals in it for Lucky and anybody else that he was with to eat. He had been severely ill just a few weeks earlier after eating the curry, but he and Gertie decided to heat up the curry from Lucky's freezer.
When they started digging, so shortly after that they got severely ill.
Both Lucky and Gertie eat that curry. Lucky has 2 portions of it, in fact. Eating poison is injecting amplifies its toxicity. Blackbeard had chosen a very effective way to kill it.
Yeah, mine's on my Apple Pay.
The effects of eating
There'll be no question that Lucky and his partner will have been vomiting. It's a very common, almost invariable side effect of alkaline.
They both became very tummy swelling. Paralysis began to set in.
Lucky said he couldn't feel his tongue, and he said to Gertie, the reason this is happening to us is because of food.
They got ill. They were from a lot of pain.
The first effect might be feeling
Boom, see how easy that is? It ain't even that hard.
numbness and things of
Easiest thing in the world. And even with that, if you just want to just have like $2 Apple Pay, like if you go to Quick Trip or something, you can just put it to the scanner and then come off the Apple Pay.
the most dramatic part is the effect.
So you can either do, it's Ariana, let me see your phone. So you can either like scroll down like this and do wallet, like type in wallet, or you can just hit aside like that, and there you go.
How they told Solar Distress.
So your cord on her too. So you can use your cord or you can use the Apple Watch.
You may be getting chest pain.
So you ain't got no money on her, but you did. You took out money out. Yeah, so your cord and
This is
then
not a good one to recommend.
easy peasy lemon squeeze.
Lucky dialed 999.
Yeah, see the game? Y'all going for Halloween? What day?
The operator, when the pair of them were unwell,
Let me know, because I'm
because somebody
trying to
had
take my
put
bag.
poison
How much is it
in
for the
there.
season pass? Bring somebody. Like everybody have their own? Damn. Yeah, see how much it is for
Told the
everybody.
operator, this was my previous girlfriend. She has had this disease.
Where you gonna go?
Made the connection between eating that curry, getting the symptoms, the fact that
We went last
he
year,
and
it
his
wasn't,
partner both had symptoms, and so it became clear.
Bye. Lucky said, are you still sitting? I said, yes, we're still sitting, but we are in the adjustment. So please come down and help us. We are in the fourth test. We've been poisoned. How can you say we've been poisoned?
I'm at home. This morning when I had dinner, we're getting to bed. And I get a phone call from my uncle. And he's quite panicked, he's quite distressed. And he's asking me to come down his house straight away. He's asking me to call an ambulance. And he says, I think I've been poisoned, and it's the fear behind who's poisoned. Who's poisoned me. So really after it was a complete shock. I said, okay. So we all jumped in the car, my mum and my young brother, drove down to the house, and we get there, and he's very distressed. He's in a lot of pain. He doubled over on the sofa. His fiance's there, and she's pretty much passed out, unconscious. And so we said, oh, obviously everyone panicked. We called the ambulance again to get him out by. I think it's 40 minutes after he's made the first call, so the ambulance never showed up as far as we were aware. Don't know what happened. Called 999 again, and they said, look, we're just really busy. We'll try and get someone out here as soon as possible. And we thought, no, this is too serious. We need to take some action now.
And there seemed to be, before he went to the hospital, did your girlfriend do this? He said yes.
I explained that he thought he'd been poisoned and he thought it was up there.
Pictures from the nearby security camera captured the glimpse that Corinda and his cousin got into a car.
We got in my car, got both in my car, and I was going to the hospitals.
During the car ride to the hospital, Brigitte tried to reach out and hold her fiance's hand. She was too paralysed. She simply couldn't do it.
He had survived what appeared to be some sort of poisoning a few weeks earlier. Would he survive now?
Told the doctors what he told us, that he suspected that he'd been poisoned. And they started treating him, and because he got quite serious, the doctors told my mum to get out, she was hysterical. Transporting was not too bad, so they wanted to take a little bit, but I just remember him, his sort of heart failing, doctor jumping on top to start CPR. And they asked me to leave as well, and then he just wrote me the waiting room. And doctor came in and said that he's gone.
Lucky didn't die. Gigi was still fighting for her life.
Brigitte was put into a medically induced coma in order to control her heart rate, and fortunately, she managed to survive.
But she only survived after she'd been put into a medically induced coma so that she could have supportive help for long enough for the toxin to work its way out of her body.
For Corinda Singh, an awful tragedy was not over.
As soon as the doctor said it, I just remember my mum falling out in tears. And my mum can be quite emotional, but I've never seen her like that. And just a pure outburst of emotion. And she was just crying and crying and crying. And I think we must have got told maybe around 2 o'clock in the morning. And I don't think she was up crying till about 5 or 6 in the morning.
There were a number of people that night who suspected they knew what had happened to Lucky Singh in Gurjit Chunk, including the man who tried to rescue him.
I felt that the truth had to be told. And the police were there and asking questions, and I told them everything that I knew. I told them, that they had an affair, and this is what my uncle told me, that he thinks Latvia's poisoned him. And this is the reasons why, because she was jealous and she didn't want him to get married to his fiancée.
Helen heard the lodger had her suspicions too.
I saw her taking the cardiff from the fridge, went to the wake station.
Then there was the 999 operator who'd taken Lucky's call.
You think your ex-girlfriend does?
Honour was at stake for the extended Singh and Sheila family. There was an immediate sense of shame as well as grief.
My aunt had come to me and said, don't get the police involved, because then our family name's going to get dragged to the mouth. And I'm thinking, my uncle's just died. I've seen him die in front of me. And you're worried about your family name. So there were a lot of emotions. Anger was one of them, along with the grief, and it wasn't something that I'd expected.
The couple due to be married on Valentine's Day 2009 at curry laced with aconite poison. Unlike the first time, Lucky had not survived. At that point on the timeline of the story of Latvia Singh and her one-time lover Lucky Chima, nobody, except Latvia herself, knew anything about the use of aconite.
Aconite is not going to be difficult to find if you look for it. However, the question is anybody going to look for it? Because that's the point of the murder. If somebody is not found until later and they are dead, well, yes, they might be unexplained death, and therefore they might have a full toxicology screen when they have the post-mortem. But you would have to find the poison in the system.
It would take experts with very specialist knowledge to expose the ingredients of this medicine.
I'm Bob Flanagan. I'm a consultant clinical scientist at King's College Hospital. I've been involved in the analysis of drugs and poison as a speciality for 45 years.
If, like Fear had poisoned Lucky, Bob Flanagan was about to become very important. The poison would have to be detected, and that can be a very hard thing to do. A murder mystery had to be solved.
We needed to know what happened as well, why it happened, what happened, and then obviously because of what I told the doctors about him suspecting that he'd been poisoned, the police arrived, I think, sort of in the early hours in the morning. We had a family liaison officer arrive and they started to discuss with us what happened, wanted to know what happened. Told us that we couldn't return home, told us that we were taking the car for forensic testing. And the investigation just started from there.
Great news, St. Louis. An all-new Ashley store is now open in St. Peters. Join the grand opening celebration on Saturday, October 19th. The first 50 people get a free gift, plus hourly giveaways and fun for the whole family. Ashley, now open in St. Peters. Great news, St. Louis. An all-new Ashley store is now open in St. Peters. Join the grand opening celebration on Saturday, October 19th. The first 50 people get a free gift, plus hourly giveaways and fun for the whole family. Ashley, now open in St. Peters.
The first thing that woke me up at night was a mixture of gunshots and my mom screaming. My main thought was, who's still alive?
Never heard of him. Didn't even know the guy was on planet Earth. Nobody knows that you have to walk on eggshells in your neighborhood.
In my mind, I'm telling myself, you're gonna get through this. My survivor instincts kicked in that night, and it saved my life. Jonestown is a concentration camp. I didn't think I was gonna make it out.
He said to me, I love you. Well, I planned to kill him. That's what I was going to do.
He started saying we have to kill ourselves, we have to do revolutionary suicide, they're going to think we're children. As soon as I started to run, his footsteps were behind me, getting quicker and quicker. That was a lot.
Showing the suspect light the home on fire.
I couldn't believe it. All you can ask is why.
Some questions.
These hands on my throat, it's very sweet. My first thought was, why do you want to kill me?
Don't have easy answers.
Nobody knows what's driving him.
It is one of those cases that nightmares come from.
Crime stories that are hidden all in one place. Crimes, cults, killers, by DNA.
Evidence pointed to a clear conclusion. The murder of Lavinda Lopachina and Libby's fiancé and Portacoma possibly had two. There really was only one suspect. With the information the police would have had straight away, and with the allegation coming direct from Lucky to the operator that it was his ex-girlfriend who'd poisoned him.
You think your ex-girlfriend said it? We have no reason to suspect as far as I know, he's never had once in his life. Always been 100% honest. And I had no reason to that. And it just made sense. He was very healthy, very active, working bad health, and this was just an immediate reaction. It just happened, just like that. And it just made sense.
They would have gone straight to her, and which is what they did. And she was arrested immediately. suspecting who a killer is one thing, proving it another. Bob Flanagan confirmed that the victim's suspicions were probably true. They had been poisoned.
Clearly having two relatively young people, both ill at the same time, both with such serious symptoms, could suggest poisoning of some sort.
What followed was a scientific detective's to uncover the crime. It appeared that something in food had been used to poison the couple. The type of toxic substance used might narrow down the suspect list. There were lots of things that were used as a poison. Bob Flanagan was brought into this investigation because of his knowledge of the most other things, how poison works on the human body.
Forensic scientists also collected residues of food from flat or sweet toothpicks had been delivered, and I suggested they were toxic alkaloids in this food residue because I couldn't think of anything else which was going to cause the chemical food poisoning into toothpaste. One suffered from moderate paresthesia, which is tingling the extremities, and this again was a characteristic symptom causing the toxic alkaloids of genetic alkalinity, which is the compound we find in various species of cannabis.
Alkaloids are naturally organic, all around us, poisonous, and they could be hidden in strong-tasting food. Flanagan was suggesting a toxin had been used which was available to anybody who knew what they were looking for. Scientists now began to look specifically for Indian aconite, the queen of poisons.
The one in Indian aconite is more toxic. The alkaloids are actually more toxic than the weight of toxic alkaloids in garden aconite in this country.
Tests do reveal the presence of Indian aconite in the bodies of Indian Gucci. Detectives think that his recent treatment clearly used the physical evidence of being related. They found some of the aconite in her pocket. They also found some in her handbag. She initially claimed that this was a herbal medicine for a rash.
It is quite feasible that this is sold in India as a condition.
However, analysis of the powder found in the also revealed aconite. So she put it in food, not on the skin.
And indeed, we saw in the different footage of where they found this bowl of very fast material contained this whole rash. In the settlement, we simply ground that down and added it to the poison, and then just left it.
The evidence was put to Lansing's scene. She recently went to Israel and attended the attendant. Upon her return, her one-time mother became violently ill shortly after eating a meal that she had cooked.
He had been admitted to St. Mary's 2 weeks before, with identical features of poisoning, but not so severe, so he survived. Again, that would suggest to me that there'd been the same drug given before, and without fatal consequences.
On the day that Lucky Chima became violently ill at this time of good June, Sophia had been seen in Lucky's house handling a meal that she had previously cooked. The curry found in Lucky's fridge had traces of aconite in it. And of course, she had a motive.
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Latvia seemed forsworn of their evil. She couldn't have Lucky the matter she loved, but she certainly had quite what's
I think I've seen that. Yeah,
Latvia seemed to be charged with the attempted murder of
I sent you one in the hurricane. I sent you something in the hurricane.
Others.
Crocodile tried to bite the main tire.
In court, Latvia denied it, and in fact tried to blame her brother for the crime. However, there was a witness who had seen Latvia taking the poisoned curry into London.
As she stood by, her family was left devastated and grieved.
I saw the reaction of my mum. She was absolutely heartbroken. Never seen her like that ever in my life. And I think for me and my brother, it was just a shock. Was I mistaken? And we just couldn't understand that when we were turning to people that were our family, that had been there from when we were born to the good times and the bad times. When we were tending to them in the moment that we needed them the most, why weren't they there? Why weren't they on that block and supporting us? So we were quite upset with that.
Latvia and Lucky's was a family affair, one which included a man and a woman related through marriage. At the heart, they were his parents, his mother's brother, his father's sister, the extended family, a family now divided.
I just remember calling one of my dad's other sister-in-laws and telling her, and because obviously it caused a bit of friction between, it had caused a bit of friction between my dad and everybody, and this family. She said to me, "We're with your dad, and if you're not with your dad, who are you to us?"
As the family came to terms with events, the jury of London vaguely considered the evidence.
Latvia stood trial and was convicted of Lucky's murder. She was also found guilty of grievous bodily harm to Gertie.
She was found not guilty of an offence related to the first time that Lucky had been imprisoned, but she was given a life sentence for murder with a minimum of 23 years.
I'm a mother of 3 boys. I wouldn't want somebody to poison my son because you're jealous. No, you can find somebody else, and he can find somebody else. I'm sorry to say, when she was found guilty, I was happy to let her go to jail and be sorry for what she did. She must pay for what she did.
With her son, Latvia did not feel like the relationship. She also destroyed the entire family.
None of my dad's side of the family showed up to the funeral, so and to this very day we don't talk to them. So it's had a long lasting effect, and it's sad that you look back at it and think the people that you grew up with, the people that were almost your brothers, your sisters, acted like your mom and your dad, and all the rest of those people that you'd have shared so many birthdays with. All of a sudden, there were no more birthdays together, there were no more Christmases together, there were no more invitations to weddings, and when you're younger you think, okay, yeah, I'm going to be at your wedding, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be involved in this, and we're going to stag do, and we're going to do whatever, and all those kind of things, and they were just gone, just like that.
Where's Brady? They touch him. Stop. Get your ass back here. Down. Get over here. No, you're fucking lost. Where you got that home go?
profilers play a unique role in the battle to put away America's worst killers. 3 members of this elite world will take you inside the mind of a serial killer.
It was cool. It was like a little drizzly. It was cold. It was a November, so it was really cold. It was really damn. He was tall. You could see he was tall in the car. He had dark brown eyes and brown hair. He didn't seem to be anything else. He wanted to go back to his house. So he was basically I mean, okay, we get him out, we go upstairs, give him money, we have sex, and then we're done. I get up and I start to put my clothes on. And he just comes up behind me and starts choking me. And it's kind of like a broken soul projector. You know, it's like your life just now, and it's like,
when I came to, a couple of days on my dress, and he kept saying, Shadow, keep still, I ain't gonna hurt you, I'm not gonna hurt you. And he took me downstairs, took to the basement.
where he had like a little hole dug in the basement, and the music was blaring throughout the house. And he put muscle clamps with screws, and he put them around my ankles attached to a chain. Put some screws on with crazy glue. I was like, I'm like, this is like unbelievable. It's like, is this really happening?
And then he put me in this hole that he had, and he didn't, wasn't even enough room for one person. And he kept trying to put me in the stall, and he kept putting me in the door, and he kept slamming on my head. Trying to get me to get into this hole. When I was in there, I was like, all cramped up and stuff. You know, and I still feeling how I couldn't breathe.
Eventually, he came back downstairs and pulled me out of the hole like on my hair. You know, pulled me up and started beating me with the stick. Shut up, I'm not going to tell you again. You know, and he puts me back in the hole.
Sounds like you're down to die. They go down in the hole in the morning, board the door on top of the hole with his handbags and et cetera, and then they stay down there till roughly about 8 at night. Gary Heitman, collector of women. In late 1986 to 1987, he kidnapped women, raped them, and tortured them in the basement torture chamber, which he designed and constructed himself.
When he first finally did take me out and he talked, he said,
your goal was to have a bunch of women and a bunch of kids.
Because he said that the city or the state would not let him raise his own kids. And that this way he could have like a whole bunch of girls and get them all pregnant.
He decided that the practicality of it is, nobody's going to come and do this with me full-time, voluntarily. So I have to create a situation where I can make them do it. He had a house that had a basement, started digging a pit down there, buying chains, getting shackles, doing anything that he needed to prepare for it before he went out and abducted his first victim, Josephine.
When he did take me out, I could pretty much walk around. So he leaves and goes out, and I could hear the car leaving.
I was like looking around and I'm trying to figure out, you know,
how to get the help or how to get out or whatever. Not one of those things. It was like on the wall, it was like a floor thing. Where somebody had nailed it and screwed it down or something. And pulled it. And
It's pretty.
Open, and I crawled out.
Don't hurt nobody.
I'm gonna try not to.
All right now.
And it was just enough room for me to get to the outside of the house.
So I'm outside and I'm hollering and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. I was hollering in Spanish. I was hollering in English. And finally, I feel somebody pulling the chain from the inside and I'm like, oh my God, he's back.
They just pulled me back through the hole by the chain.
Oh, I gotta do this better. And he re-clamps on with the tightens some more with the crazy glue.
And then he pushed me back in there. And I was in there for a long time.
From the radio, I could tell like the different times of the day. It was like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. So I was in there a long time, like over 20 hours.
The only thing I remember after that is that there was somebody upstairs on the top of this hole that was crying. And I know he kept saying, come on, Sandy, you know I'm not going to hurt you. You know I'm not going to hurt you, right?
Check it out. Check it out. Yes, I'm on that door. Next level, yeah, it's true. When I'm coming through, all eyes on me like who. Check it out.
Welcome to the most relaxing part of your day. Set the mood for meditation, relaxation, and everything in between. Vibes only on Samsung TV Plus.
The general election has begun in Japan.
The race between the president and the former president, something we've seen only once before in American history.
Our reporters travel the country talking to voters like you. How are you feeling about the 2024 election?
We'll start with what is a watershed moment in the history of our country.
First results right now.
Our reporters standing by.
Wherever the story is, we'll take you there.
Bladesmiths, this is the strength test. I'll be testing the strength and durability of your blades on these cow bones. Walter, ready?
This is quite a test. I know that this is a blade that's going to do pretty well. There's no good reason it shouldn't do well.
You know that? What information are you getting? Huh? Shut up. Get up. You're gonna get us out of this.
We started saying we have to kill ourselves, we have to do revolutionary suicide, we're going to take away our children.
Smarten up. I never wanted her.
As soon as I started to run, his footsteps were behind me. That was all I remember.
The most compelling crime stories you can't stop watching all day, all night.
This way, the attention on that tire.
Crimes.
He liked to watch me go in and out of consciousness.
He could use them with psychological sophistication.
He wanted to be in the whole incident. Monsters exist, bad things happen.
Crimes, cults, killers, by A&E.
Stop crying. Why are you crying? You know me. We've been friends for like years. Stop crying. You know, why are you crying?
Just gonna kill you and then your son.
It's like, well, this is Sandra, this is Nicole. You know, your girls are going to be down here a while together, so y'all need to start to get along. So then he puts his both of his world together.
Chandra
kidnapped and imprisoned by Gary on Saturday after Thanksgiving. She had indicated to her mother that she was leaving to go to the corner store to get something, and she didn't come home that night.
Sandra and Gary knew each other for 3 years. And she was one of the girls that was up with this, I forget the name of the Element Institute.
Which was an institute of learning that taught mentally challenged people.
His deal is with mentally handicapped man. But he felt it's his duty to be the boss.
He starts to feel that if he cohabits, if he hooks up with women who are intellectually challenged, that he can always create that dependence and that superiority and always be in control.
He would bring these women out for shopping, movies, whatever. In effect, he was taking them back to his home and having sex with them.
And he eventually impregnated 2 of the mentally depressed women. But the state immediately took the victim away from them. And so Gary resented that very much.
And that probably just makes him even more determined and committed in terms of what he then goes on to do to abduct and keep women.
He had a fantasy about creating a society where he had abducted women, he impregnated them, and they made him babies.
Almost creating a baby factory in his very own basement.
And all these people would be dependent on him, and they would look up to him.
He wanted people that was slow, people that he didn't have to worry about. You know, people that were going to look up to him like he was God.
I think one of the most narcissistic things that Gary Heidegger did was create his own religion, his own church.
He incorporated himself as a church, as the self-proclaimed bishop of the United Church for the Ministries of God.
I think he used religion as a tool. It was something that he used to further his desires. And his desires were to control people and to have people look up to him.
At his church, Heidegger had actually very few followers, but those who did go there were intellectually challenged, and one of them was Sandra Lindsay.
Sandra Lindsay had been to his house on several occasions for these so-called religious services on Sunday. Her mother and her sister actually went to 3520 North Marshall Street, knocked on the door, got no response.
You took the police in?
He took them there.
To Marshall Street?
To the Marshall Street house.
He was always there.
When they got there, they knocked on the door. Yes. There you are. Something wrong.
He was there.
Blast.
I was conscious enough to know that was a conscious act on my part, and that was essentially the reason.
Drown out that noise. With my blood boiling came to where the windows were. He put some insulation, and he put some of the bags of dirt, so you couldn't hear too much down there. So he virtually tried to soundproof the basement from the girls' screams and everything.
Police says nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do because she's a baby.
If there is a possibility that this person is there voluntarily, even though they may be mentally challenged, they still have to know that a crime was committed before the cops can enter that club.
Within days of the mother going to the house, knocking on the door, the mother got a card saying, "Dear Mom, don't worry about me."
He had to run hands all over everything so that her fingerprints would be on it if they would check. They would find no fingerprints in him.
He had her actually sign it, put her fingerprints on it, and he mailed it from New York. It was an attempt to prove that Sandra was not, in fact, missing, that she was freely gone.
That then lowered the threshold of this case, or the priority of this case, by the police, because they said, well, here's further proof that the person is alive.
He knew that it would take the heat off him in terms of Sandra being missing.
For the first month, we understand the state we were here by ourselves. We didn't take any baths. We didn't comb our hair. Right? We spent most of the time at home. And that first month right there is where he finally got a chance to start fixing the home.
When he starts making the whole bigger, these women don't know what's coming next. those things are, you know, psychologically very torturous and very fearful for the women who are in the basement.
Used to tell Kitty for Christmas. She saw a cop on the street or something. She waved at him and he stopped. Picked her up. Came back to the house.
They did engage in voluntary sexual intercourse. After that, he began to choke her. He put handcuffs on her and took her to the basement.
And he did the same thing he did with everybody else.
Gary had a system with how he would work into the house. He would put them, for the first stage, into a pit that was a dirt pit that was dug into the basement. If they complied, the next stage was that he would bring them out of the pit, put them on a rubber mattress. If they continued to do the things he asked them to do, then they would take the next step to be a regular mattress. So each time that they complied, he would give them to another mattress. If they didn't comply, he would keep them in
I think he would rape these women and he would beat them. These kinds of punishments had to be balanced somehow so that he could gain their cooperation. So what he did at times was give them rewards if they were complying. And this is one of the ways he controlled them.
He was like, after he got this having sex with them, he was like, he was like, cookies and stuff like that. So when they were coming out there and sex, everybody that was down there basically down and all over fighting over because they wanted to get cookies and whatever it was.
The fact is, these conditioning mechanisms that he used actually control human behavior very well. It made them actually want to comply so they would be able to get food, so they would be able to not be beaten.
Whoever's holding the case, the same person after a period of time, you're going to grow to like it, and regardless, she's your own source of survival.
Christine worked out early on that she had to comply in order to survive. Others in the basement were not as compliant.
Double dot, you know, for hiding nail every day.
Rather than just simply comply, she wanted to fight him. She did not want to lose her personal dignity and respect.
He constantly beat her and Heidi can just beat her like she's dead. I was like, what purpose of dedicated? This is not working. I'm like, why are you going to sit here and let him continue to torture you every day?
Yes, it is.
Heineck didn't need much of an excuse to beat one of his women or to torture them or to dehumanize them in any form. But he would also use this hierarchical system in his own given way to pit one woman against the other.
He would say, well, you're going to beat her and you better beat her hard because if not, then that's going to be you.
In putting these women through the different phases, his purpose ultimately was to gain control of these women. Not only their bodies, but their minds, in terms of not trying to get out of the house, to gain total compliance of them in that house, whether he was there or not.
Using humiliation, ridicule, disguised as discipline, is something that Gary learned from his own father.
Heineck was the firstborn of a blue-collar worker in Cleveland, Ohio. And he had a younger brother, younger by about a year, 18 months. And the father was a strict disciplinarian.
He was ridiculed when he went to bed and his mom hung the sheets outside. Embarrassing in front of the neighbors. He painted targets on the butts of their pants and sent them to school that way.
Heineck learned through his childhood that to ridicule, to abuse, to administer beatings was a way of controlling behaviour. And that's what he used as his own way of being able to control others, particularly women.
He abducted them, he took away their freedom, he raped them, he took away their dignity, he tortured them, he took away their hope.
Didn't pass the tissue test?
Dr. Garcia?
Buckle up.
Reality check.
There's toothpaste wipe, and then there's Crest 3D wipe strips wipe. Oh, one second.
Crest 3D white strips safely work below the enamel surface to whiten like a $400 professional treatment. The #1 teeth whitening brand in America. And use Crest 3D white toothpaste to maintain your smile. Crest.
I can be a little particular. It wasn't easy finding a car that's just so me.
Morning, Kate.
Morning, Chip. What was easy? Choosing NJM for auto insurance. They tailored a policy to my specific needs.
Your car really suits you.
Are you noticing a pattern?
With NJM, you get the coverage that's right for you and top-rated customer service. And vehicles are mascots. Just great insurance. NJM.